Good morning. We are recording.
Meeting, please come to order. Susie, please call the roll.
Commissioners Levine, McLean Hill, Brad, and Neiman Brady present.
This proceeding is broadcast on Channel 35. The exact broadcast times can be found by contacting Channel 35. I have no opening remarks. We'll go to general public comment. I'm told we have 7 speakers signed in at this point.
Sasha Report, followed by Polly Estabrook.
Hello. My name is Sasha Rappaport. I live in Highland Park with my wife and 2 young boys. As a resident of Los Angeles and a customer of LADWP, I am here today to ask the department to immediately prioritize the review of alternatives to the continued operation of the Scattergood, Haynes, and Harbor generating stations and develop specific plans to shut them down. Mayor Garcetti promised that these facilities would be closed. We need quick, reliable, and just transition to clean energy resources, and we need it yesterday. I understand that large-scale power infrastructure takes years of planning, investment, and construction, and it's discouraging that so little progress has been made thus far. We have a unique opportunity as the largest municipal utility in the country to be a leader in clean energy, especially at a time when climate disasters and forest fires threaten our health and safety. What's more, as a publicly owned utility, LADWP is uniquely set to prioritize the needs of the residents that pay for the power it provides. We need to mitigate the effects of climate change. We need to stop the extraction of our natural resources. We need clean, renewable energy. We need it for our families, we need it for our future, and we need it now. Now is the time for bold climate leadership. These 3 power plants have been polluting our communities for decades, and it's time for LADWP to make specific plans to shut them down and replace them with modern, zero-emission resources. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, board members and attendees. My name is Polly Estabrook, and I live in Hancock Park. I have a husband and 2 children, and I'm an engineer. I work at JPL. As a resident of Los Angeles and as an LADWP customer, I came to this meeting to voice my encouragement to the department to proceed as quickly as possible with the phase-out of Scattergood, Haynes, and Harbor plants and their replacement with a renewable resource-based power grid. In addition, I've come to request that LADWP provide us, your customers, with a timetable for this important project. A year ago, I was delighted to hear Mel Levine and our mayor announce that these plants would be closed down by 2029 or sooner, and thus enabling our city to transition 38% of its natural gas away, 38% away, reduce the natural gas needs by 38%, sorry. However, in the ensuing year, I also have heard nothing about the closeout of these plans and nothing regarding the construction of new facilities. As an engineer, I understand that creating a new power infrastructure to serve 4 million people will take time to plan and time to implement. I'm concerned that LADWP is not progressing sufficiently quickly to enable a transition by 2029 or sooner. And this troubles me because I understand the local and global impact of continuing to emit CO2 into our atmosphere. As we all know, rising levels of CO2 translate into rising global temperatures. We've all seen, and as Sasha mentioned, the devastation caused by the wildfires and the rains that followed. Over the last summers, we've counted more hot summer days, more heat waves, and more air pollution. I'm deeply troubled because of the danger that rising CO2 poses to our children, future generations, and even to ourselves. I'm very proud to reside in Los Angeles. I'm convinced that LADWP has the expertise, the willpower, the people, and the vision to take on this challenging project. As I read about other large cities in the world moving to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by 80 to 100% by 2050 or sooner, I know that LA should and will be in this group. I'm proud to think that our municipal LADWP had the vision to embark on this project and is doing its part to help LA join this group of forward-thinking cities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica Craven. Katrina, followed by Katrina Matheson.
Hi, all. My name is Jessica Craven. I am a mom. I live in Mount Washington in Northeast Los Angeles. I have been to speak before you before, and it's very nice to see you all again. I'm with this group of people. We are climate activists, but we're just people who are terrified. So we have become climate activists by necessity, not because we were born this way. We are members of, I am members of the NELA Climate Collective and also LA Forward. I'm here to say much the same thing. I would just add a mother's sort of emotional plea. I'm sure many of you are parents. This summer we had 80 unhealthful air days in a row in Los Angeles, and I think I've come and said this here before. Those are days when our kids literally cannot play outside without risking their health. I'm a PTA president. I talk to parents constantly. I am on Facebook pages with moms constantly. People are saying that they are leaving Los Angeles over air quality and the fires. We are rupturing people in this state because the air is becoming unbreathable here and the climate is becoming unlivable. So yes, please. I know that we got the great headline last year and we were so thrilled that Eric Garcetti and you, sir, announced that we were shutting down these plants. And on Facebook yesterday, someone said, why are you bothering going to this meeting? They've already said that they're going to do it. And we said, because nothing has been done. And a headline is not going to save my kid. And a headline is not going to save any of our kids. We want a place for them to live in 30 years. So 2050, as we all know, is not soon enough. But at the very least, please, these power plants need to be shut down, as has already been said yesterday. I'm not being a hysterical mom here. This is all scientific fact, as we know. So we need you guys, please, to be the superheroes that we know you can be and develop a plan quickly and expeditiously to shut these plants down and transition to renewable energy so that we can stay in Los Angeles, so that all of us can live in Los Angeles, and so that our kids can actually play in Los Angeles. And I would like to just close by saying this is not a super convenient time for those of us who are not, I mean, there's a lot of people here clearly who are being paid to come here. We are missing work, we are missing childcare, we are missing all kinds of things to come here. So I just want you to know that although there's only 6 or 7 of us, we represent a lot of people that we talk to every day who are really concerned. So please, you have the power to save us, and I hope you will. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Katrina Matheson. Similar to Jessica, I'm also a mom. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I'm raising, with my husband, I'm raising 2 daughters who are 5th generation Angelinas. Given the recent and now familiar cycle of fires and floods and heat waves, we can no longer deny the imminent threat of climate change right here in our own backyard. It's not in some far off place, it's right here. As a stakeholder in this community, I really urge the LADWP to follow through on Garcetti's promise to shut down these plants as soon as possible. We need a concrete plan, and a vote to shut down these plants at Scattergood, Haynes, and Harbor are the first step towards a future, and a future not just for us, but for my daughters and their great-great-grandchildren 5 generations from now. Thanks.
Thank you.
R. Plastichert, followed by Cheryl Auger.
Thank you. My name is R.D. Placher. As a senior disabled citizen, I want you to act as efficacious leaders and stewards of our LA communities. I am physically heavily affected by the quality of my environment, and I am cognitively and mentally affected by pollutants. Please act for me and everyone in our areas by investing now in clean energy projects and immediately acting to end fossil fuel usage. Please shut down the Scattergood, Haynes, and Harbor generating stations. Replace them with modern zero-emission resources. My brain and my body, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Cheryl Auger, and I am the president of Ban Single-Use Plastic. We represent about 200 people that live and breathe in Los Angeles. I'm also very concerned about these plants and would like to see the accelerated review and replacement of these plants for clean energy plants. Southern California has the nation's worst smog level since 2001, which is causing a 110% increase in deaths attributable to ozone pollutions from 2010 to 2017. And I'm sorry, that was 10%. We need you to help us mitigate all of this. These 3 power plants have been polluting our communities for decades, and it's time for LADWP to make a specific plan to shut them down and replace them with modern, zero-emission resources. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Bond.
Good morning. My name is David Bond. I'm a Los Angeles Department of Water and Power employee and have been for 32 years. I'm pleased to hear the concerns of these individuals. However, I also have some realistic comments, and I've made one for each one of the board members, and their names are on the top. It's called 2020 Currently. And the reason it's called 2020 Currently is because, unfortunately, even though the request of these individuals is currently out there, there is no technology that exists besides hydro that we have limited and maxed out on currently in this area that is clean and green. The wind power, which is I currently work on those turbines, 210 and 240 feet in the air, is unreliable. It may work through the evening, but it may not. So due to this act of God that occurs semi-regularly, we do have some power being generated from our facility. Solar. Solar is outstanding. I work out in the Mojave Desert. It's 100-something degrees, 340 out of 365 days a year. It is terrific. Unfortunately, our transmission lines and capacities currently are insufficient to get the power generated out there to the demand center here in downtown Los Angeles. Thirdly, I do want to thank you for your assistance. I've appeared here several times before the board about getting the supervisor documentation out. I heard there's a slight error in it. However, it is to be opened this Friday, so I appreciate the assistance with that. Also, with the scenarios that have occurred, my priorities have been altered. My family and I, currently, I have 7 brothers and sisters, several that work here at the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, are redirecting our efforts to create a relatively large foster care home and facility for 20 to 30 youths, optimistically, and helping the pregnant youths as well. With the capability of opening an adoption agency everywhere, not only will we be able to help people in the vicinity here, but possibly across the nation. So my priorities are staying here and working for the next few years hard for you, this company that's paid millions of dollars to train me. Thank you very much. And compensated me millions of dollars over the year. Thank you very much. We'd like to make sure that we're working forward, and this currently 2020 gives actual and factual information about the technology we exist. Unfortunately, including the beautiful battery bank that's out there in the Mojave Desert, it is not going to live up to the standards that we're going to need to meet our goals and expectations by 2045 and 2050. A new type of battery technology must be created, but currently does not exist. So that is why this document is called 2020 Currently. It's the best of the information I've gleaned from all of us field workers on where we are now, what we have been doing, and what is working for us. What is our future? To be determined by this board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
General public comment is closed.
General Manager.
Good morning. Thank you for a chance to say a few good words here. First of all, I'd like to let you know about a couple of events that happened last week. Last week in Council District 2, with the mayor and council member Krikorian, we were part of dedicating the city's first homeless navigation center. It's a center where people can store their goods, have shower and bathroom facilities and get guidance for housing and employment and other things out in North Hollywood. Our involvement is because it's one of a number of homeless facilities that's located on Department of Water and Power property. And so this is a power line right away. It's the Whitnall Highway right away that runs power down from the Valley Steam Plant area and goes into the central city. And so we moved our facilities around, protected them the way we needed to, and allowed construction of this center there in a very much needed area. I know that Commissioner Brad has always asked about what we're doing to use our department properties to help the homeless situation. And so we do have other places where there's bridge housing being constructed. There'll be a dedication, I think, in a few weeks of groundbreaking in Van Nuys area, also in CD2. But this was a good first step and a very well received. And so we're anxious to participate with the city and help out as much as we can in these projects. Also, last week I had a meeting with the president of Navajo Nation, Jonathan Nez, looking to see how the Navajo Nation may partner with the department on different renewable energy projects and other things, transmission projects and things that we can work on together. So Councilmember O'Farrell hosted him in Los Angeles, as well as a number of other tribal leaders. And so we are working closely together and seeing what we can do that's mutually beneficial for both of our futures. Lastly, in just discussing where we are with our power future and our power plans, it's good to hear that people are proud of where we're going as a department and as a city. We are 100% committed to our renewable energy goals and to making the changes that we need to make in our power supply system. Right now, our schedule is, our goals of the city are well beyond the goals of the state of California, and our schedule has us already over 30% renewable energy on an annual basis at this point. By 2036, we will be 80% renewable energy, 97% carbon-free. That's well ahead of any goals, and what we're doing currently and our plans far outstrip any efforts by anybody else in the nation, possibly in anyone in the world. I do want to point out David Bond was 100% correct in his comments. The technology to go 100% renewable right now does not exist, and will not exist in 2030 unless we invent something completely new that we haven't thought of already. We, at the same time, are working hard to get off gas locally. We know that requires a lot of transmission. Transmission is decades long to build. You'll see in our plans and the power system studies what we need to do. I want to remind everyone the mayor's commitment is that we're not repowering our power plants. The local power plants are critical right now to keep the lights on and will remain critical for a while. And there's anybody who's an expert in energy anywhere in the world will tell you the same situation. So we are working to get off of gas as fast as possible. We're working to reduce our demand on gas. We already only use gas when we need to peak or if we have an outage of major facilities, so our gas use is much less than it was historically. We're looking at opportunities to go to hydrogen instead of gas or in combination with gas to further reduce our carbon footprint in the near term. So we will do everything we can to drive our carbon footprint down immediately. But at the same time, don't have any illusions that those local power plants are not necessary to keep the lights on while we replace the power system and build other renewable energy sources and find a way to bring that energy into the system.
Thanks, Marty. Comments from commissioners on agendized items and requests from commissioners relating to departmental operations. Commissioner Barad.
Thank you. Oh, you don't have it?
No, she does.
She does.
I'm trying to get close.
Okay.
I think I shrank. Yeah, I just wanted to call out Christina Holland, who is a community relations specialist with DWP and who comes to our Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Council meetings. And I contacted her about what I thought was a troubling thing, and that was that I had received 3 different communications from people regarding hacking or scamming with DWP, where it sounded, as people said, kind of very slick, that people would call and say that they hadn't paid their bill and that here's the number to call to pay, and it was an 800 number. And I contacted Christina and said, does this sound like something that we would do? And, can you see what this is all about? And Christina contacted security at DWP, and it turns out that it was really scamming. And one of the people that I spoke to, who was a colleague, was about to pay, although he knew that he had paid it. But when he went to pay it, his bank said, "Don't pay it. This is a scam," and so it was saved by his bank. But it was 3 different people in a week, and I don't know where it's coming from or why, but I just want to thank Christina and DWP Security for looking into this, because I think that this is a serious thing. I did post this on Facebook, and interestingly enough, got responses from people, not only from people in Los Angeles, but someone who I know who lives in Florida, who said, "Thank you for putting that on Facebook." So I don't know whether things like this are occurring with other utilities throughout the country, but I think that it's something that we ought to look into and let people know, if there's some other way that we can let people know that DWP would never do this, and that to be aware of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. That's important. Marty?
2 things on, first, I neglected to bring up one thing earlier, if I may, but first, in response to Commissioner's comments, Joe and Sharon, are you in the room? Sharon, could you just, as part of my comments, let the Commission know what's going on with scam calls, because this is a regular recurring problem, and what we're doing? Yeah, go ahead and just, maybe Joe wants to join you.
Commissioner Barad, thank you for your comments. We always want people to actively promote and share when they've gotten scams. What we do right now is we've trained all of our reps to input. We end up with about 80 to 90 scam calls a day in our call center, and we input it, we report it to the Utilities United Against Scams. It's a nationwide organization. We immediately get the number disconnected. And so it's a process, unfortunately, that's impacting really utility users, and I think there's IRS scams, I think there's all sorts of scams, but the utility scams are frightening because they do prey on susceptible customers. And so we also have put messages on our bills, on our envelopes. I've done a couple on-camera, Joe's made me do a couple on-camera interviews, but it is not a problem. What we find, though, is we are noticing that we get more scams reported, but less people have paid. So the message is getting out, but there are still some people that are susceptible, and they do pay. So it's still a problem, so I really appreciate you bringing this up.
I would just add that we can't do enough to raise awareness around this issue, and we've done a lot in terms of paid social media. We've done earned media as well. We did actually a Latino-focused Spanish language ad with a customer. It's our own video, and it's on our website and our YouTube channel, with an individual describing how he was scammed. We have a brand new video that I was just reviewing in the last couple days for Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, as well, to try to get the word out as much as possible. We do take advantage when media calls us to ask them to emphasize it and to do those interviews, both in English and Spanish. It is a pervasive problem. It's common to utilities across the country and here in Southern California especially. We've also had instances where CVS has contacted the media, the TV stations, and they've connected us and said that they've told people don't do it as well. Something we'd like to try to do is to get some signage into places like Walgreens and CVS, because those are the places they're getting referred to go to buy those cash cards to make the payment.
Have we traced where this 800 number that they're using?
They're usually burner phones and burner accounts. So they'll actually, in some cases, spoof a number, which means they'll have that number appear on the phone, but it's not from that number. That's why working with this council that's dedicated to trying to stop this is helpful, because they know all the tricks and tips as well. For us, it's about keeping the message as clear as possible, which is that we'll never ask for money over the phone, and if anybody tries to tell you to purchase a card to pay them, to hang up and give us a call.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know that people have said that it sounds legitimate when they give the 800 number and their copy, you know, it just sounds so legitimate that they're falling for it.
They spoof our IVR, too. They spoof the phone message system that we have, and so it does even sometimes sound like they've called LADWP, and so Joe is absolutely right. We say, please hang up the phone and dial 1-800 DWP, because we're the real thing, and then they can get directly, and we can check their account. We can help them with any questions they have.
Yeah, I commend both you and your staffs for how aggressively you're doing everything you can to deal with this. I know a very capable lawyer who actually got spoofed and panicked and made a payment. And obviously, it sounded very legitimate to this person who should be pretty sophisticated. But I'm keenly aware of the efforts that our staff is making, and you guys in particular, and it's extremely important, and I want to compliment you for it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I want to compliment Commissioner Barad for focusing on it. Marty, did you have something else?
I do apologize. I forgot to flip the page on one of my notes here. We did receive some very good news last week. We were ranked by the, it's a long name, or it's a bunch of E's, American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy recognized us last week, at the end of last week. We were ranked in the top 10 utilities for energy efficiency, and ranked that we tied for most improved. And this is an effort that falls both led by David Jaco and Sharon Grove and their teams, if you'd like to stand up. This is a national ranking. We were the only one in the top 10 that was a publicly owned utility. We were number 7. The 6 in front of us were all investor-owned utilities. The next public utility was ranked number 20. And so we stand alone amongst our peers, and I'd like to recognize the efforts of this group. So as you're aware, we've greatly increased our investments in energy efficiency, both for homes and businesses. And these are the folks that make it happen. And this is how we're keeping our energy demands under control and helping our customers control their bills. So I'd like to thank everyone who's here today and for your efforts. And we'll continue with great news going forward, I hope.
That's wonderful
Next
news.
year we're going to shoot for number 1.
Congratulations to everybody who's been involved in this. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Do you have comments?
Yes, thank you. First, I want to thank and acknowledge various folks on Brianna's team for the excellent tour that I was given. We saw trunk line replacement, main line replacement, and relocation, the Fletcher pump station, regulating station, the headworks. Well, got to really delve into the headworks and the whole Silver Lake Reservoir complex and how all of it is interconnected and so critical. It's incredible the staff you have and the dedication of the employees and their skill level. It was very impressive all around. So thank you for that. Relatedly, the theme that keeps coming up has to do with staffing levels and the ability to hire, and how we're going to attract talent, especially as the workforce ages and retires. About a month ago, I made a request for a presentation on the state of hiring and the bottlenecks that we have, both perceived and actual, and any suggestions and ideas on how we can move that forward. And I wanted to bring it up again, given just the continued commentary and discussion, and Jeff can attest to folks that we were meeting with in the power systems that very much share the same concerns. So I was thinking no later than perhaps the April 14th meeting. That should give sufficient time to come before the board and have a discussion on that. Does that work?
It looks like an ironclad commitment that you just got.
Yeah, I'm being told that the second meeting in March will have begin that presentation.
Oh, the 24th?
Yeah.
It's going to be a two-part presentation.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, ratepayer advocate.
If questions arise on individual items, we'll follow up.
Thank you. Discussion with neighborhood council representatives on any neighborhood council resolution or community impact statement filed with the city clerk which relate to any agenda item listed or being considered on this agenda for the Water and Power Board.
No community impact statements or formal positions were filed by any neighborhood councils on the items on today's agenda.
Before we go to monthly reports and the informational report has been deferred, we have for the open agenda items 10 through 16. Do any commissioners wish to remove any of those items for public discussion? Otherwise, they'd be considered for consent. Commissioner
I'd
Broad?
like to pull item number 15.
Okay. Any others?
Yes.
Yeah.
10 and 12.
10 and 12. Okay, so that leaves for consent items 11, 13, 14, and 16. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. So those items are passed. 11, 13, 14, and 16 are enacted. After we do the minutes and hear from monthly reports, we'll go to items 11, 13, 10, 12, and 15. Financial Services Organization Monthly Activities Report, December.
The December report is in your package, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Hearing none. Power System, December.
The report is also in your binder. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Hearing none. Monthly Water System Report, December and January.
Yes, the report is in your package, and
Any
I will
questions?
be answer any questions.
Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of February 11th, at which Levine, McLean, Hill, Reyes, and Neiman Brady were present?
So moved.
Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those are approved. Item 10, Commissioner Neiman Brady, do you want a presentation or do you have questions, or both?
Yeah, forgive me, I just
No problem.
I'm not as
Yeah.
familiar with this one, so a presentation would be helpful.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners, President Levine, GM Adams. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Masood Saburi. I'm the Director of Real Estate, and thank you very much for asking me to present something that I'm very proud of. So with that, I'll present to you what we have here, and then if you have any questions, we can go forward with it. Okay. So the proposed lease is for 10 years with a 5-year option on it, and it's for leasing about 132,000 square feet of rentable space. It translates to about 117,000 square foot of occupiable space, and there is about 623 parking spots. The lease cost per square foot, this is per the whole thing, it's about $29 per foot per year, which is the lowest that I could find. And the cost of the tenant improvement, I was able to put a cap on it at $70 per square foot. and then DWP would not be paying the whole thing at once. We go back and forth between DWP and the owner, and we exchange back and forth on the TI cost. So, but the cap that we have is $70 if the TI cost goes to 140, and the DWP's cap could go to $80 if it goes to 160, the total cost of the TI. Anything above $160 per square foot would be on the owner's dime, okay? So the background is, if I could go back to about 15, 16 months ago, there was a presentation that was made to this board by our space planning group, and it showed that how short of a space we are here at JFB, and how the conference rooms are filled up with new engineers and new employees, and how it would be unsafe. So the board directed us to find a place for the employees, the overrun of the employees. So we've been looking, we were looking for a space.
Excuse me, am I correct that, and I may not have the context wrong, but that the board requested a stack analysis of some sort?
Which that's being done right now.
That's being done. So can you talk how this will be integrated into that?
So I can.
Yeah, I can address that. So, so this space equates to about 4 floors on this building, and then we'll be restacking this building and doing some retrofitting of some of the infrastructure that's very necessary, so we can get the power systems, the water systems, and other core functions that have been historically back together and disaggregated as they are. Our plan would be to move the bulk of customer services in the call center, which we have a whole floor. It's a call center here, to a new state-of-the-art call center at the new place, as well as many of our IT staff, folks who work closely amongst themselves, but not as much with other people in the building, and don't have customers coming in to see them necessarily, but they handle their own customer issues as a unit. But we desperately need a space, and we've been looking. Masood's been looking around for quite a while to find something that would accommodate the space that we need with our growing staff, and at a price that's affordable, and also with adequate parking, which is a killer downtown. And so, but there is a restack plan for this building as to who will be on what floors in conjunction with this, and we're nailing down the details. But we will fully occupy this space and this building and the other space that we have across the street at Fig Plaza.
Okay, and so then is this sufficient for our current needs, but not our growing needs? I mean,
this should handle our growing needs. At the rate we actually are able to fill vacancies, this should do it. Now, if we have a huge increase in the rate of hiring, we may fill up the space sooner. I think one of Masood's bullets buried in there is about the number of retirements we have, and so there's a constant flux of people, because we have people leaving and people coming in, and then not everyone that we're adding is here in the building. So with the number of vacancies, we're sitting just shy of 10,700 employees right now. We have about 11,200 to 300 on the books, and we're looking to add some more positions so people have the flexibility to hire what they need. Most of those positions are not here in the building. So, but the engineering staffs are growing to accommodate the new workload. The customer service staff is growing because we have more customer programs. We have rebates. We've heard from people, being, delayed in getting rebates and that sort of thing. So we're trying to find them the adequate space that they need as well. But one of my goals is to try to keep units whole, because we've splintered off a lot of units over time, and so it makes it very difficult to manage. Makes it very inefficient when people have to travel to the building just to meet with their peers who they work with on a daily basis. And so it seems that this is the best. We have to kind of figure the best blocks to peel off, and to get everybody back to a functioning, workable situation here, and also get our folks back into their standard size occupancies, and right now we're really struggling with that.
So one
I
thing
don't know if I
that
answered your question or not, but
Yeah,
it is
that
part of an
helps.
overall plan.
It's complicated, but
Yeah, yeah, and so it's a combination of being realistic about how many people we have now, how many vacancies we have, and what we think realistically we'll be able to fill in the period of time.
So one thing, in addition to what Marty mentioned, is that third bullet, that we have some new projects coming on board, and it requires a lot of people to be hired. So IT projects and smart grid and system reliability projects and that. So we need to have, resources for those. So some of the things that attracted me to this site is, first is that I can get a lot of parking per 1,000 square foot, which is unheard of here in downtown. The number of parking is 623, and it equates to 4.7 per 1,000 square foot, which is here you can only find about 1.5 to 2 per 1,000. The other thing is that we'll be the sole occupier of this building. Even though this is 13th floor, the only office space here is the 11, 12, and 13. The rest is parking. And they agreed with us that they would give us parking spaces or levels from the first floor to the 4th floor, and they would separate that from any other parking. The TI allowance that I mentioned, I could not get that with anybody else, that we would have a ceiling for our TI allowance and for our TI cost. The other thing that they agreed to do when we were negotiating is all the architectural and design cost would be on the owner. And we would just give them our specifications and our requirements, and they do all the planning and everything else on their dime. And the other thing that I could do on this one, which is kind of unheard of, is to get rent abatement if they don't deliver on time. So we have an agreement that they could deliver either floor by floor or all 3 floors at once. But however they do it, if we gave them 9 months to deliver everything. If they go beyond that 9 months, I'll cut the rent to half for the time that they haven't delivered it. So it was something that it was hard, to get them to agree to, and they did. The other thing is pretty close by this site. It's almost a walking distance for about 7 to 10 minutes. So everything is, is working out, for this location.
I'm not sure if you're familiar, if you look out the side of the building, it's a white building that used to say Stock Exchange, well, it says Stock Exchange.
You can see it on
and it's never really been fully occupied, so.
Yeah, and we are the sole occupier, so that's something that, from the point of, when we have IT in there and they have, their lines and everything in there, we can secure that.
Okay.
I used to do cyber security. So.
All right, thank you, that's very helpful.
Sure.
Did you have other questions you wanted
No, it
to
was
see
just
more?
general
Yeah,
understanding.
I mean, it's, bottom line is it's tough to get enough office space around here. We looked at a couple of the locations, and this is the only place that we could get a really fair deal with enough space and not feel like we had an open door for costs, which a couple others, would not guarantee a ceiling on what our costs would be.
Yeah.
And so this seemed like the only good deal around. And luckily, being on the outskirts of downtown as we are, we're kind of on the outside, it gives us a little more flexibility for proximity.
You missed all the closed session discussions about this. But that was a good summary. Thank you, Masood, very much.
Sure, my
Is there a
pleasure.
motion?
So moved.
Second? Those in
Second.
favor? Aye. That leaves no one to vote no, so you just got unanimous consent.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm proud of this. lease.
And I'd like to thank real estate, and on behalf of all the employees who are looking for a real office and the managers who'd like to be able to staff to get their projects done. We've been talking about getting space for years. I know David Wright talked about it for a long time, so this is a big, big move ahead. 9 months from now, we'll have more office space and we'll really be rolling, so thank you.
That's terrific.
Yeah. If I may, I just want to thank, Guy Lammer and, the GM who was very supportive in getting this. I'm on the next item too, I guess.
And we thank you.
Sure. My pleasure.
Item 12, you want a presentation?
No.
Do you have
Yeah,
questions?
just questions, yeah.
Did you have a question on that, or? you
Just
wanna
a
see-
question, yeah.
Okay.
Just generally, I'd like to better understand LADPP's policy on right-of-way use, and the development towards that.
Yeah, so in terms of this right-of-way, this is interesting because this is a chance to use one of our power line right-of-ways for park space in the city of Huntington Park. We have a similar project going on in Southgate with a project. And one of the issues for us in Masood and real estate manage our right-of-way use. We typically have a lot of height restrictions, restrictions on permanent facilities versus things that can be moved. We have a lot of nursery leases, sometimes parking leases. But we are really looking at what we can allow in our right-of-way space. Andy Kendall's been very instrumental in kind of rethinking how we use this, because much of the open space in LA seems to be Department of Water and Power property. Recently, about a year ago, Rec and Parks, in conjunction with the LA Land Trust and some others, put together a park called Jacaranda Park in Watts. And it's a beautiful park under the power line right-of-ways, and has basketball courts and walking paths and beautiful California-friendly landscape. We've been talking to the council districts in the valley about doing something similar and trying to make linear parks out of some of our right-of-ways. At the same time, we're aware that wires have to be replaced. We have to look at reconductoring and other things. So it has to mesh together very well to make sure that we're able to do our work that we have planned out for the future. But there's a lot of opportunities, and so Andy's been helping lead this charge. So I think ideally you see more of this in the future, where we're trying to cooperate with other local cities where our wires go through their land, as well as make some big improvements in Los Angeles. So we're actually kind of plotting this out. It's a large change in thinking for us, and change in just, we're very protective of our property and our needs to maintain our facilities, but it's a giant change in our thinking. So we'll try to bring a presentation to the board with kind of what we have in mind. So.
Can you disclose which city council districts in the valley you're talking to?
Well, yes. So we've been asked by Council President Martinez and Councilmember Krikorian about particularly where they have transmission lines coming from Valley Steam Plant going to downtown. So they've both asked me, said we need to do something with this property. A lot of times power line easements are eyesores if they're not maintained. There are a lot of maintenance. It's basically weed eating constantly. And then there's a lot of times trash pickup. People, dump bulky items, furniture, and things like that on properties. So underutilized property in many ways creates a lot of work for us, and a lot of work for security. Yeah. What you find a lot of times is that when you have something that attracts people, you actually have less vandalism, you have less issues, and some of your patrolling and maintenance costs go away. So we've talked to Rec and Parks about opportunities, but we're interested with particularly in the East Valley, the council members, we've already started some ideas and discussion about that. But they've approached us and said, we need to do something that is not an eyesore, make this an amenity for the community. If you're going to have power lines going through your neighborhood, there should be something that's good that's traded back for that. So we are working on that.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Again, thanks. Commissioner Barad, do you want a presentation, or do you have questions on
I have a question.
15?
I'd like to invite up the director and the assistant director for water engineering and technical service, Mr. Andy Leonard and Mr. Gregory, along with Ms. Yoshi. Come on up, Yoshi.
My question is regarding the language that says that there'll be recycled water at the Hanson spreading grounds for indirect potable reuse. Now, I know what potable means, but what does indirect potable reuse mean?
All right. Do you want me to Sure. Good morning, commissioners. And my name is Greg Reed. I'm from Water Engineering and Technical Services, and I'm joined with Yoshi Sunihara, who has been the lead from the DWP side on our groundwater replenishment program, as well as our director, Andy Leonard. So, Yoshi, please.
All right, so good morning. So I'm with the Water Recycling Planning Group, and as Greg said, I'm the project manager for the Los Angeles Groundwater Replenishment Project. So this is a project, the term for the project is indirect potable reuse. So there's potable reuse, which is your drinking water, or sorry, potable reuse means any sort of recycled water. We have non-potable reuse, which is our irrigation customers, anything that you wouldn't be drinking. Indirect potable reuse means that eventually it'll become part of our drinking water supply. So in this case, the way this project works is we'll be taking our recycled water, it'll be going into the ground at Hansen spreading grounds where they traditionally would spread storm water or imported water. And then it will be purified as it undergoes the natural treatment processes in the soil and become part of our groundwater supply. And then eventually it'll be extracted and be part of our drinking water supply. So that's what we mean by indirect.
And how long does that procedure take?
So in order for a project to be an indirect potable reuse compared to, say, direct potable reuse, which there are no regulations for, the state requires that the water remain in the ground for a minimum of 2 months. During this time, we test the water both in the ground, and we've been testing it at the treatment plant as well. Actually, from Hansen spreading grounds to our nearest extraction wells, it's about 3 to 6 years. So it's actually going to be a very long time.
36 years?
3 to 6 years.
Oh, 3 to 6.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's very slow travel time in the ground.
Will there be any signage there that tells people not to drink it? That at some point it's not for.
If in terms of the recycled water itself, it'll be inside our pipeline, and then go out into the spreading grounds and then infiltrate into the ground. So the spreading grounds are they're private property. You can't enter into the spreading grounds. When you have a recycled water customer, like a park that's irrigated, you have to have signage to indicate that that site's irrigated with recycled water and don't drink off of our recycled water system. In this case, because it's private property, there won't be signage specifically that says, say, don't drink. You wouldn't be able to drink the water at the spreading grounds. But there will be outreach, both at Tillman, well, primarily at Tillman, which is open to the public for tours, to explain the project and how the process works.
Thank you.
To add to that, I do have a question. Typically, recycled water is treated to, correctly me if I'm wrong, to such a level that it is deemed safe regardless, and it's for safety measures they do that. But my question actually relates now to PFAS, and given all the controversy that's going on in Orange County, and this is looks like it just says it's ozonated. I don't know how you say it.
Ozonated, yes. Yes.
And I understand only RO removes PFAS, and I may be wrong about that. I've only been briefed very loosely on this.
PFAS are perfluorinated compounds are a constituent of emerging concern. They were regulated in 2018 here in the state, so I think you're familiar with that. They are a concern for us for this project. There are more treatments than reverse osmosis that remove PFAS, such as granular activated carbon and ion exchange, and there's new technologies. However, we do have some perfluorinated substances in our recycled water effluent, so that's something that we're evaluating. We are above the notification level because it's very, very low. It's at the detection limit. We're below the federal response level. But we are evaluating how to manage PFAS at the Tillman plant and in our recycled water system. Okay. So this is new. It's very new looking at it, the research behind it and the treatment, and also what we need to do to manage it. Okay. So that's something that we're working on as well with the regional board as we're getting our permit for this project.
Okay. And so is it possible to come back when you have more of the plans?
We will be coming back to you about PFAS in our recycled water.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Because that same issue will also play out at Hyperion as well. So.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Those in favor? Aye.
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 It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council?
At this point, we will recess in a closed session, and in accordance with California Government Code Section 5495 7.1, we'll report any final actions taken therein. We are in recess.